The world had changed, and not for the better. As I stood atop the hill, gazing down at what was once a bustling city, all I could see was water. Endless water. Buildings that once scraped the sky were now mere skeletons, half submerged and forgotten. The air was thick with smog, making every breath a struggle. The sun, a dull orange orb, barely penetrated the haze. I am Billy, a 37-year-old climate scientist. I grew up in a coastal town, watching the sea claim streets, parks, and eventually, my childhood home. The devastation propelled me into environmental science. I wanted to make a difference, to halt the relentless march of climate change. But as the years went by, the realization dawned on me. We were too late. My team and I had developed what we believed was the ultimate solution, a global initiative that promised to reverse the damage. But Earth had reached a tipping point. Our efforts, though groundbreaking, were like trying to empty an ocean with a bucket. The world was spiraling into chaos, and I felt the weight of guilt pressing down on me. We should have done more. We should have acted sooner. I remembered the last time I saw my wife, Sarah. A hurricane, one of the many that year, had taken her from me. Her laughter, her warmth, all snuffed out in an instant. The pain was a constant companion, a reminder of my failures. As I descended the hill, I came across a group of survivors. They had set up a makeshift camp, with tents and a small fire. Faces, young and old, looked up at me with a mix of hope and despair. Among them was Clara, a young girl with bright blue eyes, holding onto a tattered teddy bear. She reminded me of my niece, who I had lost contact with months ago. "Are you heading to the safe zone?" an elderly man asked, his voice raspy. Rumors of a safe zone had spread like wildfire, an underground city built by a tech mogul, a haven from the chaos above. But its location was a mystery. "I hope to find it," I replied, my voice heavy with fatigue. That night, as we sat around the fire sharing stories of loss and hope, I felt a strange connection with these strangers. We were all bound by a common thread: survival. The world had changed, but humanity's spirit remained unbroken. As I drifted off to sleep, memories of my coastal town flooded back. The sound of waves crashing, the salty breeze, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. But that tomorrow never came. The next morning we set out early, guided by whispers and fragmented maps. The journey was treacherous. Roads had turned into rivers, forests were ablaze, and the once familiar landmarks were now unrecognizable. Every step was a reminder of nature's wrath and our own hubris. Clara, the young girl, often walked beside me. She was curious, always asking questions about the world before, about the blue skies and chirping birds. It broke my heart to think that she might never experience the earth as I once knew it. "We're close," said Marco, a former geologist in our group, as he studied a tattered map. "The entrance to the safe zone is rumored to be in the next valley." But as we approached, we were met with a sight that none of us had expected. A massive steel door, guarded by armed personnel. The safe zone was real, but it wasn't the sanctuary we had imagined. "We can't let everyone in," one of the guards declared, his voice cold. "Only those with unique skills or knowledge. The rest will have to turn back." Desperation filled the air. Families were torn apart, and pleas for entry echoed off the walls. I stepped forward, my credentials as a climate scientist my only hope. The guard studied me for a moment before nodding. "You can enter," he said. But I couldn't leave the group behind, especially Clara. "She's with me," I said, pulling her close. The guard hesitated, but eventually let us both through. Inside, the underground city was a marvel of technology. Brightly lit corridors, advanced air filtration systems, and a self-sustaining ecosystem. It was a stark contrast to the world above, but amidst the marvel, there was an underlying tension. The city was ruled by its creator, the tech mogul, and his word was law. As days turned into weeks, I worked with a team of scientists, trying to find a way to reverse the damage. But the weight of our past mistakes was overwhelming. And then, the second twist hit me. While analyzing data, I stumbled upon a shocking revelation. The rapid climate change wasn't entirely natural. There were signs of weather manipulation, patterns that couldn't be explained by natural phenomena alone. Digging deeper, I discovered that a rival nation had been experimenting with weather control technology, which had gone horribly wrong. The discovery was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it gave us a potential solution, a way to counteract the effects. But on the other, it posed a moral dilemma. The people of the underground city were divided. Some called for revenge, while others, like me, believed that our focus should be on survival. Late one night, as I pondered the revelation, Clara approached me. "Why do you look so sad?" she asked, her blue eyes filled with innocence. I hesitated, wondering how to explain the complexities of our situation to a child. But before I could answer, she spoke again. "The Guardians will help us," she whispered, referring to the ancient spirits rumored to roam the earth. I smiled, touched by her faith. "I hope so," I replied, holding on to a glimmer of hope. The underground city buzzed with activity as news of my discovery spread. Meetings were held, strategies discussed, and plans laid out. The weight of the world's fate rested on our shoulders, and every decision was crucial. One evening, as I was engrossed in my research, a soft knock interrupted my thoughts. Opening the door, I was met with a sight that took my breath away. Standing before me were three ethereal figures, their forms shimmering like mirages. The Guardians. "We have watched," one of them began, their voice echoing like a gentle breeze. "We have seen the damage, the pain, and the suffering." I was at a loss for words, my scientific mind struggling to comprehend the supernatural beings before me. "You seek solutions, but the answers lie not in revenge, but in unity," another Guardian continued. "The earth is wounded, and it needs healing." The third Guardian stepped forward, placing a hand on my shoulder. A rush of memories flooded my mind. My coastal town, my wife Sarah, the countless victims of the climate apocalypse. Tears streamed down my face as the weight of my guilt and grief overwhelmed me. "You carry the weight of the world, Billy," the Guardian whispered. "But you are not alone. The earth cries out, and its spirits are here to help." The Guardians revealed that the rival nation's weather manipulation technology had indeed accelerated the Earth's decline, but they also shared a vision, a world where humanity and nature coexisted in harmony, a world where the mistakes of the past were lessons for the future. With renewed determination, I approached the city's leaders with a proposal. Instead of seeking revenge, we would extend a hand of friendship to the rival nation. Together, we would pool our resources, knowledge, and technology to heal the Earth. The decision was met with resistance. Many were consumed by anger and the desire for retribution. But Clara's voice, innocent yet powerful, resonated with the masses. "We have a chance to make things right," she declared, standing beside me. "Let's not waste it." The following weeks were a blur of activity. Delegations were sent, treaties signed, and collaborative efforts initiated. The combined might of two nations, guided by the wisdom of the Guardians, worked tirelessly. And then, the day arrived. A massive device, a culmination of our efforts, was activated. Its purpose? To reverse the effects of the weather manipulation and restore the Earth's natural balance. As the machine hummed to life, the skies began to clear. The smog dissipated, revealing the brilliant blue of the heavens. The turbulent oceans calmed, and the once raging fires were extinguished. The world watched in awe as nature began its healing process. The Earth, though scarred, showed signs of recovery. Hope, once a distant dream, was now a tangible reality. But the journey was far from over. The path to redemption was long and challenges lay ahead. Yet, with unity, determination, and the guidance of the Guardians, humanity was ready to face them. The days following the machine's activation were a mix of celebration and reflection. The underground city, once a refuge from the apocalypse, now became a hub of innovation and collaboration. Scientists, engineers, and experts from both nations worked side by side, sharing knowledge and resources. But while the immediate crisis had been averted, the scars of the past remained. Cities lay in ruins, ecosystems were disrupted, and countless lives had been lost. The task of rebuilding was monumental. I often found myself wandering the corridors of the underground city, lost in thought. The weight of my past decisions, the guilt of not acting sooner, still haunted me. But amidst the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. Clara, with her unwavering optimism, became a beacon of light for many, including me. One day, as I stood overlooking the city's central plaza, a soft hand tugged at my sleeve. It was Clara, holding a small sapling in her hands. "We should plant this," she said, her eyes shining with determination, "as a symbol of hope and a promise for a better future." And so, in the heart of the underground city, we planted the sapling. It was a simple act, but it held profound significance. It represented rebirth, renewal, and the resilience of the human spirit. News of our initiative spread, and soon, similar acts of reforestation began across the globe. Forests were replanted, wildlife habitats restored, and communities rebuilt. The earth, once on the brink of destruction, was slowly healing. However, challenges remained. Resources were scarce, and tensions occasionally flared between communities. But the lessons of the past were not forgotten. Diplomacy and dialogue replaced conflict, and a new era of cooperation dawned. The Guardians, their purpose fulfilled, began to fade from the world, but before they departed, they left us with a final message. "Remember," they whispered, their voices echoing in the wind, "the earth is a living entity, and it needs love, care, and respect. Cherish it, protect it, and it will nurture you in return." Years passed, and the world continued its journey towards recovery. The underground city, once a sanctuary, was now a thriving metropolis. The sapling Clara and I had planted had grown into a majestic tree, its branches reaching out to the skies. As I sat under its shade, reflecting on the journey, Clara, now a young woman, joined me. We sat in silence, taking in the beauty of the world around us. "We did it," she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. "Yes," I replied, a tear rolling down my cheek. "But the journey continues. We must never forget the lessons of the past and always strive for a better future." The world had changed, but so had we. From the ashes of despair, hope had risen, and humanity had found its way back to the path of redemption. The world had found a semblance of balance, but the scars of our past were indelible. As the years went by, the memories of the apocalypse became tales told to the new generation, stories of a time when the earth had nearly succumbed to humanity's recklessness. I had grown older, my hair now a shade of silver, but the weight of my past decisions never left me. The underground city had expanded, and the tree Clara and I had planted stood tall and proud, a testament to our resilience. But even in this era of recovery and growth, a lingering fear remained. Whispers began to circulate about strange occurrences on the outskirts of the city. People spoke of shadows that moved on their own, of chilling winds that carried eerie whispers, and of a feeling of being watched. The tales were dismissed by many as mere superstitions, remnants of our traumatic past, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. One evening, as the sun set, casting the city in a golden hue, I decided to venture to the outskirts, drawn by an inexplicable urge. The landscape had changed over the years, with lush greenery replacing the barren wastelands. But as I ventured further, the atmosphere grew dense, and an unsettling silence enveloped the area. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind blew, and before me appeared a figure, ethereal and shimmering, much like the Guardians. But this entity was different, its presence foreboding. "You," it whispered, its voice echoing with a mix of anger and sorrow. "You who dared to tamper with the natural order." I stood frozen, my heart racing. "Who are you?" I managed to ask. "I am the embodiment of the earth's pain, a reminder of the wounds you inflicted," it replied. "While you celebrate your victories, the earth still bears the scars of your actions." Guilt washed over me. Despite our efforts to heal and rebuild, we had never truly atoned for our sins. The entity before me was a manifestation of the earth's lingering pain, a shadow of our past mistakes. "You must remember," it continued, "that while you may have found a way to survive, the earth's healing is an ongoing process. Never forget the price of your actions." As the entity faded, the weight of its words settled in my heart. I returned to the city with a renewed sense of purpose. We had come a long way, but our journey was far from over. The next day, I gathered the city's leaders and shared my encounter. Together, we initiated programs to educate the new generation about the importance of coexisting with nature, of understanding the delicate balance of our ecosystem. The lingering fear served as a reminder, a beacon guiding us towards a future where humanity and nature existed in harmony. And as I gazed at the tree in the city's center, I felt a sense of hope. We had been given a second chance, and we would do everything in our power to cherish and protect our home,